Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I thought I would share with you my superhero husband. We are in the process now where we're going to swap the beds out. If you've watched all the previous videos, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We have a really good queen size mattress set in here that we are going to keep for at least the immediate time being, but we're going to swap out for a king size. There's really like hardly any guests that come that just need a queen size. Probably just when Aunt Sue comes by herself. Everybody else could really use a king size mattress. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take our old king and we're going to put it in here. It is in really good shape. We have a mattress pad on top. Where I have a mattress pad for the top, and we have also a down bed topper for it as well, just to add if people want like more cushiony, that type of thing. But we're not going to put that on until after we move out of the guest room because we like to switch it out. So we like to go for like a firm mattress and then a squishy mattress. We're in the firm mattress stage right now. So what Jim is, like I said, being a rock star, he is. I asked him if we could keep the queen size mattress in here for the immediate time being. I mentioned in a previous video that we haven't gotten our mattress in the mail yet that we ordered, and we have guests coming soon. So I said to him, if we can keep the queen nearby, then God forbid we don't get the mattress in time, we can throw the queen onto the king frame and or box springs, and whoever the company is can just stay on there. So if you've never done this before, if you've never disassembled a mattress, there is no rhyme, there is no right way, wrong way. There is different companies make different frames different ways. Really, you have to just figure it out. If you're interested why that headboard is on 2x4s, I would be happy to share that with you. This headboard, as well as the headboard in my room, were actually designed to be hung on the wall. But we knew that we didn't want such a permanent fix. As far as our room is concerned, we wanted our bed to be in front of the window. We knew that the curtains would not be able to hang if the headboard was hanging on the wall. And the wall that's behind this headboard is a temporary wall, believe it or not. It's actually Jim's office and the guest room share. They're actually one giant room that somebody built a wall. The previous owner built a wall to make two separate rooms. So we just went with it. We just wanted to make sure that we didn't have anything hung on it, just to lessen the risk that something could happen to the wall. Now, we did have storage under here. I've mentioned it in previous videos that this is our tornado room. This is our safe room. So we have a long tote underneath that has all of the emergency supplies in it. I have a video on my channel where I go through all of the stuff that we have in that, if you're interested. And then there also has like extra quilts. So I have these quilts that I've been collecting for a long time that we're going to be creating a quilt ladder on the channel, which is a little bit different than all the country ladders you see. Just a little bit, in my opinion. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. And we're going to create that for this room to hang all the quilts. But for right now, we just have them stored under the bed. So he's moved all that away, and now he's disassembling the frame. Because they're all different, you have to sometimes really take a look at how this one is put together before you can figure out how it comes apart. So this one actually had like a plastic, like peg situation to keep the two pieces from pivoting. So it took him a few minutes to figure that out before he was able to get that apart. Now, I mentioned also previously that the box spring and the frame are going into his office as per his request. For now, and the mattress is going to stay here, but we are eventually actually going to move it out into the hallway. We just have to finish doing some other things before we do that. The reason we're doing that is because we're going to be living in here, and it's going to be open up the space for us. I don't know that I'm actually going to I never vlogged it or whatever, but to get in there with my walker, it was very, very difficult. So we ended up asking if we can move the mattress out to the original location, which was in the hallway, and he said no problem. Okay. So the one thing that he did have to consider, because this headboard is not hung on the wall, is he pulled the feet out so that it wouldn't fall on him, which is something to consider as well. he was funny because he's like, whoever assembled this, I don't know how they did it. And I was like, I don't know who you think might have assembled it, but you. So I thought that was really cute. He just didn't remember doing it, but it's been sitting there since we moved in, 7 years ago. So um, I think you could see the new nightstand on the left now. The color isn't objectionable to me. I did buy paint to paint it, and maybe in the spring or the autumn we might go ahead and pull it out and do that. But for right now, it's okay. I don't mind it at all. Okay. So he's collecting up all the pieces. Bed frames sometimes have wheels, sometimes don't. So if yours does, think about that when you go to, assemble it. You go to buy a bed frame. If you plan on moving your bed around, you want to make sure it has wheels on it. So now this is us just like standing it up. He had originally just laid it over, and it just took up way too much room. So I said, if we can just stand it up in front of the desk, that will be much better. I'll be able to get in and out of the door easier, and be able to get in and out of bed a lot easier as well. But we really needed to do this before we moved the king mattress in, and the king frame, because that's what's coming next. The king frame and mattress, I think I've mentioned in story times in the past, was my sister's and sister-in-law's mattress that they had during Superstorm Sandy when it came. They had bed bug protectors on it because we were going through this bed bug thing there in New York, like almost like a pandemic. It wasn't really, but you know what I'm saying. And she had gotten protectors on them. And when the flood came, she said when they came and saw the waters, the mattress and box spring were literally floating because the bed bug protectors were airtight. So they didn't have any water damage. The frame did, and it got a little rusty, but we cleaned it up. And it's just a frame, so it doesn't really have to do anything functional except hold the bed up. Okay? Now, I will tell you, this is a very good quality mattress, which is another reason why we're keeping it. It weighs a metric ton. Okay, maybe it doesn't. I didn't actually weigh it, but it is truly very, very heavy. Most kings have split boxes, so the box frames are kind of really light, considering like this mattress is super heavy. Now, if you watched the videos the other day, you saw me move the dresser. I can I can push things that are heavy if they can support me. But this one was sort of like, because it was kind of flimsy, it was like, is it going to support me? Am I going to like fall over? So I said to Jim, I was like, listen, if I can just give you the lead, if I could just take the lead and I can just say, pull when I need you to pull, because what I needed to do is I needed to make sure my footing was secure. And I say this in case you're running into the same situation. So I had to make sure my footing was secure before I could go ahead and give it my all. And then I wanted him to not pull too far because I again needed the mattress to support me. When I did the dresser by myself, and I could just go at my own pace. But working in tandem, you really have to communicate with your partner, especially if you have mobility issues, limitations, or special needs. Okay? So now the one thing he's doing is he's bringing in the first half of the box spring. He has taken the other half of the box spring and stood it up by my dresser so he can get the frame out and the frame in first. Originally, he was thinking about taking apart the frame, and I said, sweetie, if you could, it will clear the doorway. You won't have to reassemble it. It would just go so much faster if you could just pick it up the way it is. And he was like, at first, he was like, I don't know. And then he did it, and it's like, it's kind of wobbly and unsteady. I was like, yeah, but take your time, just go slow. It has plastic protective pieces on the corners that protect it from scratching the floor when he's dragging it like this, which is great. It was a big bonus. But just like any moving furniture rearranging, this bed frame has a head and a foot, so you have to make sure that the head goes in first because that's where it's going to be, or the head goes in its appropriate position. So he's coming towards me, and he's telling me where to go. He's coming towards me so he can put the head in first. Now, like I mentioned, this is a king size headboard. I got this one in mine on clearance when we first moved in, for really inexpensive. I think one of them was like $50. The other one was like $40. Like really, really cheap on clearance. But they were perfect for my needs. I've made my headboards in the past, like padded headboards, and I said, I really don't know that I can get the materials for this price. So let's just go with this. and they're both neutral enough that I can change my bedding out from time to time and not have to worry about them not matching. If that makes any sense to you. Hopefully it does. So here we are. Now, because this frame is so large, it can take like on a rhombus type of situation. It can go askew. So the best way to fix it is to actually get the box springs in there. The box springs are wood and will square up this frame easy. And I'm sorry about all the moving. I'm trying to get it so that you can see what he's doing, and I apologize for that shakiness, but I'm not the greatest camera person sitting down, type of thing. So he's trying to figure out, like, do I put this? Do I do here? Do I do this? Okay. So one of the things that I was trying to say to him was I needed the frame to be directly under the headboard, so we had room on both sides. We wouldn't have to move it once we had it loaded. And he was trying to say, well, he needs to make sure he pulls it away from the wall a little bit so we have room for the headboard. So this is just us discussing how the best way to do it is, as you can see. I thought the best way would be to stand it up and walk it around, and he thinks that the best way to do it would be to just lift it up and put it on. So he's going to do what he thinks is best and maybe take my advice, it looks like, possibly. Now, the good thing is like I mentioned before, they're not very heavy. That's really the best part of it all, is out of the whole project, this was probably the easiest part. They're actually even easier than doing the queen size box spring, because that's one big solid piece. Okay. Now, I normally keep a dust ruffle on my guest room bed, but since we're doing this for us to sleep in the meantime, we're not worrying about that right now. We're just going to go ahead and lay it down and set it up, and, just so we can sleep in it at this point. The mattress, we know, is going to be a very intense process, so we're making sure that we reserve our energy the best we can, because we need it. And we don't know, we don't want to spend it on something frivolous like putting on a dust ruffle, if that makes any sense. Okay. So now he's just going to fix it and do the same with the second, which really is just as easy as the first. The thing that makes it more difficult is usually at a headboard, they have a corner clamp that you can screw a headboard onto at the head of the bed, that they usually have like this thing that goes around the corner, and it's lining it up, getting it in that spot, getting it in its proper fit, so that you can make it, like we mentioned before, we have to square it up. So that's just going to take the tiniest bit of finesse. And normally it's like, this is a repetitive process, I wouldn't leave it, but I wanted to show you that what I'm talking about. Okay. So, there is a center piece, a support going between each box spring in the middle, which you can kind of use, but you kind of can't. Sometimes over time, the box springs can become skewed themselves or warped by weight or usage. So it's best to just go, like, once you have them both on, you line them both up. Sorry, I keep saying You put them both on, and you line them both up, and then you can square them up, because that's really what we're looking for. We're looking for to make sure that it's square inside the frame. Okay, tuck in the top, tuck in the corners, he's checking all four sides to make sure that they're in, because that's really important. You don't want to put the mattress on while the frame's not put together properly with the box spring in it properly, because you could end up hurting yourself, breaking the box spring, breaking the frame, or something along those lines. So it's very important. And then it's really important, the most important, especially when you're going to be 50, to rest. Just take a break, have a seat, sit for a few minutes, and then we'll work on getting the mattress. The mattress, like I mentioned, was very heavy. I did suggest to him to put a blanket underneath it so he could pull the blanket. He said no, he just wanted to do it this way, and I was like, that's fine. It's just that this particular mattress doesn't have any place to grip it. It doesn't have a pillow top. It doesn't have any handles. It really doesn't have like enough material for you to actually get a good grip on it. So it's very, very difficult. And because it's very heavy, it makes it even more difficult. It makes it extremely difficult. The good news is the head or the footboard are interchangeable, so you could rotate your mattress. So as far as how it gets in there, as far as the head and footbar is concerned, is not a problem. The only thing that's negative about that is it's a non-flip mattress. It's only got finish on one side. So it has to go in a certain way so that the unfinished side goes down first. But you can see we're having a little trouble. This is what I mentioned before about like me asking him to like, let me get my feet set, then I'll push, you pull. Let me get my feet set, then you can push, pull, and I'll push. And this is 2 times speed so that you guys can see that I am really taking my time. And I'm using my walker when I need to, so I'm using it to support myself between me and the mattress, or behind me. It was a great tool to actually put it behind me or on the side of me. And then we take a break, leaning up against the wall for a second. Let me move around. Now, I asked him about switching positions because it really was no way that I was going to be able to pull, and there was no way I was going to be able to walk backwards into the room. So I said to him, I'm like, I'll hold it up. You come over here. You get the inside, and then I'll come over there and I'll get the outside to push. By the time it started to flop on him, and by the time I walked around to the other side, I was exhausted and I needed to sit and take a break. And he's like, how are you going to sit when I can't hold this mattress while you sit? And I was like, it's okay. Just leave it. You can sit too. But then we got back to it. Turns out I was able to do this from the wheelie chair. As long as I had the chair backed up against a wall or a door, I was able to put my full force behind it, which I actually had more force on the chair with resistance behind me than I did standing, because I didn't have to stabilize my legs. I didn't have to use energy and muscle and strength from my legs to stand. I was able to use them exclusively to push, if that makes any sense. It did take some finagling, and I knocked the camera off with my walker, so you can't see anything except the finished product. Sorry about that. We did take the wreath off the door because we realized we were scraping it along the door, but we finally got it in there. It took some struggle. It took some maneuvering. It took about 25 minutes, but it was finally in there and on there and complete. Jim is trying to move it into place by himself. God bless him, because as I mentioned before, this is extremely heavy. And it wants to take the frame and box spring with it when you do this. But he's my rock star. He's my amazing Viking warrior husband. I love him. And then he decided he wants to go ahead and volunteer to make the bed for us. So I am one truly, truly, truly blessed human being. Yes, honey, you rest. You deserve it. Now, if you guys know Jim like I know Jim, you know his body and his brain will not allow him to rest, especially when there's work to be done. So this is where he's going to take this opportunity to make the bed. Now, we love these sheets. These are from Brooklyn, and Sue gave them to us. They're really, really high-end sheets that we would never be able to afford if they weren't gifted to us. Let's put it this way. 1 year for Christmas, we got the fitted sheet, and 1 year we got the flat sheet. We don't even have the pillowcases because they're that much money, but they're exceptional quality. We do have great sheets that we bought at like Target and TJ Maxx and stuff, but these ones we just love so much. Now, this staying in this room is going to be temporary, but we're trying to make it as, user-friendly for us as possible. The things that we're going to need, the convenience of having our bedside table stuff that we need every night. Jim's going to bring all that in. One of the reasons I wanted to stand up the queen mattress is so that I could get that round table in here so that I would have like a nightstand situation to keep everything that I need, from my medicine to my waters to my charging implements and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, the other thing that I will tell you is that we hooked up these 2 lamps. If you've been with me since the beginning, I've mentioned that these 2 lamps, there's no electricity on that faux wall. So the 2 lamps are actually hooked into one, sort of like the Christmas button tap thing that you put on your tree that you could tap with your foot and turn it on and off. Well, we have since changed that. We got smart bulbs, and we use our digital assistant to turn the light bulbs on and off, so we don't have to worry about, or our guests don't have to worry about tapping the button on and off. What also makes it better is originally they were either both on or both off. The way we have it now, you can actually have one on. You can actually have one on and dim, and the other person could have it off and, be trying to go to sleep while the other person's reading in bed without being too disturbing. So there is that. If you guys are interested, I got this quilt at just walmart.com. It's a king size. It came with 2 king size pillow shams. It wasn't very expensive. It isn't a great quality, but it's good enough for us for what we use it for, just sort of every day. Not really a collector quilt, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Now, the last thing that you absolutely have to do when your wife is going through menopause is open the air conditioning vent. That is a must. But Jim has moved the table in here, and now he's just going to start gathering up all of the stuff that we need and bringing it in one piece at a time. I am so happy. He makes me so happy, and I'm so grateful that he is on this venture with me. I can't imagine anybody else being on this adventure with me. So there's a couple of things that I've mentioned in previous videos of the past. That was silly. But I have basically a basket. It's just a wicker basket that I bought in Amish country that has really what I need for essentials, for like an emergency essential basket. It has like the sugar-free cough syrup. It has sugar-free cough drops. It has ear cleaner. It has my back scratcher. Just things that you wouldn't think are essential. But when you can't get up in the middle of the night as easily and conveniently as other people, they're there for you. Okay? It also contains just extra ibuprofen in case I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm in extreme pain. As long as it's my 4-hour window has passed, I can take more ibuprofen, and so on and so forth. Now, the other thing that you need when you have allergies and a wife going through menopause is you need your air purifier / fan. Yeah, because that's absolutely a necessity in this room as well. This is how it looks all done, and I think it's just came out perfect for what we need. It's been working really well, and I'm really excited to get to the next step. So if you guys have any questions, you know what to do, and the liking and subscribing and the sharing. And as always, you guys take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye.